Good evening, everyone. I would like to share with you a small introduction of generative adversarial networks, which is a form of deep learning networks. Uh, and I would just start this small introduction with a small GIF, which has been developed using this generative adversarial networks. So this network is capable of generating new faces, new images which appear to be realistic. This has further capabilities too, which I would be talking about in the next few minutes. So before we really understand what uh, these networks are, I would just like to brush up on the concepts of supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning, because GAN networks are the combinations of supervised as well as unsupervised machine learning. So the supervised machine learning has got would be fed with a few input variables, and it would be classifying, or it would be able to identify the different output class. I mean the output variables, and would be able to label them as different classes, as individual classes. So the model is trained by examples of inputs, which means they already know the kind of inputs which are labeled inputs, and it would be able to predict the outputs. And based on the kind of prediction, based on the kind of error, the amount of error or the quantity of error it during prediction, it would be able to update the model so that it is able to match the expected outputs exactly. So this is supervised learning. So just to see a pictorial representation of supervised learning, we also call this predictive learning, because this will actually predict the test input as to which class it really belongs to. So supervised learning, on the left hand side, are the inputs that you see here. These are the input variables, and these are the classified output variables. So here, each of these input variables are labeled, and therefore this model, called the supervised learning model, would be trained with these input variables along with its associated labels, and it would be able to classify the different, the input variables as under different classes. So this is supervised learning, where it really knows what this object means, what this object means, and so on. So it really is trained with the shape of the banana, the color of the banana, the color of the orange, apple, grapes, and so on. So it should be able to discriminate the the learnt input variables as under different classes accurately. So if there is any error in the prediction of the input variables, it will naturally update its model in such a way that it is able to give a clear and accurate prediction, such that it matches the uh, exact classes. So this is the flow of the supervised model, where the input data is fed to the model, and it predicts the data that comes into it, and based upon the error, the model is being updated, and that is being updated just because it already has the learned data that is fed to the model. So the examples for the supervised learning are classification and regression. So these are the two examples. And the specific examples of supervised learning algorithms are logistic regression and random forest. Classification and regression are the two methods, or the two algorithms that are used. The internal algorithms that are used for classification and regression are logistic regression and random forest. So this is the next part of the machine learning form, which is known as the unsupervised learning, wherein the data that is being given to the model is unknown. It is not labeled data. So it's just a random set of data, and based on the differences between the different input variables, it is being classified into different classes. So this is the kind of raw data. It has got a combination of all the circles, the triangles, and the cubes. So this model actually separates it based on its identification of various differences between each of these shapes, and therefore it just classifies them into three different classes without any labels. So there's no possibility of updating the model based on some trained data. It doesn't know what kind of data it's being fed with. So only with the differences between the three in the kinds of input variables, it is able to classify them into different classes. So the examples here are clustering and generative modeling, and the algorithms, the examples of the unsupervised learning algorithms are K-means algorithm and generative adversarial networks. So what are GAN actually? So generative modeling is an unsupervised learning task in machine learning, which involves, uh, you know, uh, it learns regularities or patterns in the input data, and in such a way that it actually learns the data that comes into it in such a way that it is able to generate a realistic data set, and it would appear as if it has been obtained from the real or the original data set, which actually is not true. So generative modeling is an unsupervised learning task. Therefore, it discovers the patterns of the input data. The input data is being given to the model, and this model is able to generate new examples which appear to belong to an original data set, which actually is not which actually doesn't belong to. So there are actually two submodels in this GAN model, the generator model and the discriminator model. So the generator model is trained to generate new examples, and the discriminator model tries to classify between the two examples, which is it either tries to identify whether it is a real example or a fake example. So these two models, the generator as well as the discriminator models are trained together in such a way that it plays a zero sum game, which means that the generator actually tries half of its time to fool the discriminator model in such a way that it will not be able to identify whether it is a real or a fake example, whereas the discriminator model tries to identify, or it tries to find the maximum difference between the real and the fake output data. So that is the kind of tussle these two models have. So generator always tries to minimize the error, but whereas the discriminator model tries to maximize the difference between, or it tries to find out the actual image and the in the case of image classification, it tries to identify the difference between an actual image, a real image, and a fake image. So this is the real architecture or the whole process that happens in a GAN. So this is the noise that is being given as input, and it is given to the generator model. So actually, if you look at GAN, it has got two submodels. One is the generator, and the other is the discriminator. So this generator is going to generate new outputs, and this will actually look as if it is being obtained from the real faces. So we are going to take the distribution of these images, and a sample of the distribution would be taken so that it would be able to generate a new set of inputs which will be similar to the input space. So based on these inputs, this discriminator would be able to classify it as fake or real. So this takes the responsibility of classifying. This takes the example of discriminating, whereas this generator takes the responsibility of generating new faces, which really looks as if it is from the actual input space, whereas it is not. So the main applications, or the very common applications that happens using GAN, is the image to image translation, where the real or the realistic or the actual images are fed as inputs during training, but it is converted into an image that has never existed. It is also capable of translating photos of summer, the summer into winter, and it is also able to generate realistic photos which are really actually fake. So the discriminative modeling, what happens in this is that we have the training samples over here, and the input is fed to the discriminative model, and it will predict the input that is being fed to this. So if these training samples appear to be really they appear to be really from the real data set, then the discriminator model will fail to actually find out that it is a fake data. So this is the kind of competition that happens between the discriminative model and the generative model. So this training data is used to find a discriminate function. It is able to define a function for this model such that it maps each of these the input variables into one of these class labels. So, and then it is able to predict a particular output. So here, this discriminative model does not have any possibility of updation of data, since it is only doing a predicted classification kind of task. So the generative model here, it is given a set of training samples, and the input is the random data, and it is able to generate a sample based on the training samples as well as the input data. So the generative model takes input from the samples of the distribution of the actual data. So it takes the samples of each of the distribution of the input samples, and these samples are in reverse actually mapped to a part of the input space, and those samples are given as input to the generator, which would generate the generated sample. So this is what happens. It models the distribution of inputs as well as the outputs, which are known as generative models, and then it samples certain, it takes samples from the distribution, and with that it is able to generate synthetic data points in the input space. So the examples for this are LDA and GMM, and these deep learning methods can be used as generative models. So examples for these kind of generative models are restricted Boltzmann machine and deep belief network. The algorithms that are used are variational autoencoder and the generative adversarial network. So the overview of GAN again, to summarize, is that the discriminator model takes the example from the domain as input and predicts a binary class. So it is able to classify the input that comes into it, whether it is a real or a fake kind of data. And this real example comes from the training data set. So it will be able to identify whether it is from the real set or from the fake data set. So this real example comes from the training data set that the discriminator model has been trained with. Uh, the discriminator is a normal classification model, therefore it will be able to identify, or it will be able to classify between the real and the fake data. After the training process, the discriminator model is discarded, uh, and therefore the generator plays a major role. So the GAN discriminator model appears to be this, where the input example is fed to the discriminator model, and it is able to classify between a real data and a fake data. So this is a zero-sum game that it plays actually. The random input vector is given to the generator model, where with which it generates the generated example. And the real example is fed to the discriminator model, with which it is actually trained. And then the input that is actually fed to the discriminator model as test input is the generated example. So since it is already trained with the real example, it would be able to classify it whether it is a real data or a fake data. And based upon the prediction error that it actually has, this model is being updated. Based on this particular error also, the generator model is also updated. So this is the main objective, where the generated model actually tries to minimize the minimize the difference between the real and the fake data, whereas the discriminator is able to maximize the difference between the real and the fake data, which are given by these log functions. So this is the flow that we had already seen for the generated model, and this is the flow that we had seen for the discriminator model. So this is the main objective of GAN networks. So I think I've given a small overview of GAN networks. Maybe on the next section, we'll be able to simulate a few codes using GAN networks, which would be really of interest. Thank you.